I'm ready.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the commission meeting this morning. We want to welcome everybody here in the boardroom this morning. Everybody that's out there on virtual this morning that's joining us. I'll call the meeting order this morning. We'll have a public comment at the beginning of the meeting on the agenda items only. And then at the end of the meeting, we'll have another public comment where you can adjust the board for any concerns you might have or whatever you want to adjust the board about at the end of the meeting. And I'll call the meeting order this morning. And we'll have prayer by Commissioner Lutz, pledge allegiance by Commissioner Cook, then we'll have roll call by Madam Clerk.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day. We thank you for the blessings that you give us each and every day. Lord, we ask you to be with this board as we make decisions for the people of Tuscola County. Give us guidance, Lord. Lord, we pray for those ones that are sick, the ones that are homeless, and the ones that are in addictions. That, Lord, we just ask them to look to you for the answers. Lord, we pray for our first responders and just bring them home safely. And we also pray for our military as they keep us safe each and every day. Lord, we ask this in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning.
Commissioner Goodchild,
Here.
Commissioner Barba, Commissioner Vaughn,
Here.
Commissioner Lutz,
Here.
Commissioner Cook.
Here.
You have a quorum. You may proceed.
Thank you. First thing is the adoption of the agenda. Anybody got anything they need to add or anything to the agenda this morning? I've got one thing that we're gonna add this morning to the agenda and put it under new business. And we'll put it under 4. We'll make it 5 under new business. Put it in front of the plan we're on. And it's request annual maintenance contract for the courthouse X-ray machine by Steve Anderson. So we'll add that to the agenda. With that, if everybody's got anything else to add to the agenda, if I'm not, I'll make a motion on
Make a motion to adopt the agenda with the addition. Support.
been moved by Commissioner Lutz, supported by Commissioner Cook, to move to adopt the agenda with the addition as presented. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And the adoption of the agenda has been approved. Action on previous meeting minutes.
I move to adopt the meeting minutes from the March 13th, 2025 regular meeting.
Support.
The move by Commissioner Cook, supported by Commissioner Lutz, to move to adopt the meeting minutes from the March 13th, 2025 regular meeting. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meetings have been approved. Comes time now for public comment. Anybody wants to address the board on anything that's on the agenda this morning? The time to do that is now. Anybody wants to address the board this morning on the agenda items only, please? The time to do that is now. Anybody who wants to address the boardroom, either here in the gallery or on virtual? Let the record show that public comment was offered and we had nobody participate. We'll move on to the consent agenda.
Chair, I move to the consent agenda minutes and the consent agenda items from the March 24th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting be adopted. For
So moved by Commissioner Lutz, supported by Commissioner Cook, to move that the consent agenda minutes, consent agenda items from the March 24th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting be adopted. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
It has been approved. With that, we'll move on to new business. The first thing under new business is the presentation of the resolution honoring Renee Francisco, Finance Coordinator, from the County Board of Commissioners. Thank you. Thank you, Lily, for coming. Tuscola County Board of Commissioners, 2025-03, resolution honoring Renee Francisco. Whereas Renee Francisco, Financial Coordinator of the Controller's Office, has been a respected and dedicated employee for 26 years and will be leaving Tuscola County effective March 28, 2025. And whereas Renee began her employment with Tuscola County as a general office clerk on November 30th, 1998. She continued in this role until August of 2000, when she became the secretary too. And whereas Renee continued to advance, became the administrative assistant on January 1st, 2009. She continued in this role until January 12th, 2020, when she became the financial coordinator. And whereas Renee has been a valuable employee through all the many changes in the controller's office and adapted with ease, and whereas during Renee's many years of service, many technology advances were made within the office, such as Corona's timekeeping, BS&A software for payroll, accounts payable, and general ledger, and iCompass for the agendas, of which she was actively involved. And whereas Renee's clerical, administrative, financial skills, attention to detail, along with her wealth of knowledge, made her a valuable asset to the Controller's Office in Tuscola County. And whereas Renee is admired and appreciated by those she works with, both inside and outside of the Controller's Office. And whereas Renee's friendliness, helpfulness, and the peaceful work ethic will be missed upon her retirement. Therefore, be it resolved, on behalf of the residents of Tuscola County, the Board of Commissioners commends Renee Francisco for her valuable contributions to Tuscola County during her 26 years of service, and wishes Renee many wonderful years of retirement. Congratulations, Renee.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to the beautiful resolution girls, and that, and for being able to work here for 26 years. Who knew when I started the general office that it would last this long? It's been wonderful. Thank you. Thank you all.
I want to be like each other. I can't see that. No, man, you get your.
That's good.
Oh, no, I can't.
I can't, the desk in-
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you all.
Where y'all going? Yeah.
If we can please have the motion for that, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the place on file retirement resolution 2025-03 presented to Renee Francisco, Financial Coordinator. Roll call vote.
You have a second for that?
Support.
Sorry.
Can't get a second on that.
She has to stay then.
Yeah. That's the
Sorry.
way it is.
The move to approve the place on file the retirement resolution 2025-03 presented to Renee Francisco on this quarter. The roll call vote.
Thank you. Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Goodchild,
Yes.
Commissioner Bardwell is absent. Commissioner Lutz.
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Yes.
Motion carries. And if I may add, Renee is going to be truly, truly missed.
Number 2 on the new business, Safe Belt Quarterly Business Review, Lauren Riga.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
How are
morning.
you guys?
Good.
Good. Hey, I just wanted to come up here and kind of recap how last year went. And I know I met most of you last year at a commission meeting, but I like to try to get out and say hello and see if there's anything I can do for you guys and help you guys. So I'm the account manager, just to remind everybody. So I'm in charge of contracts, but I'm also in charge of kind of being an additional liaison for you between operations and the county. So kind of wanted to give you a summary of 2024. I think it attests to a great partnership that we have. We actually completed 1,457 permits were issued in 2024, and we completed 3,163 inspections. So it was a very good year for the county, and I think it attests to the development that you guys have going on and how things are going. So I also have some reports. Unfortunately, I had some technical difficulties because I've been on the road this week, but I'd love to email them to you guys as well. That kind of breaks down what those permits were between building, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing. And then it'll give you a chance to kind of see how we rounded out 2024. Does anybody have any questions for me? Any feedback on how everything's going? Is there anything I can help you with?
I think it's going, fairly well. Daryl's been good to work with. We had a few bumps a little bit, you can let down and talk and
Sure.
get things ironed out.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
That's what we do. We look after everything. Once in a while, there could be a bump or two that we got
Sure,
to
absolutely.
address. And I think it's been overall.
Daryl's been very good to work with.
Great. That's great to hear. And I just like to come and make sure I'm checking in with you guys. And if you ever need anything, I'm here as an additional layer of support. Okay.
Yeah, any more questions?
Any other questions for me while I'm here? No? Okay, I'll make sure that I email those reports and hopefully they can get emailed to you guys. So if you have any other questions, you can let me know. Okay,
Thank you.
all right.
You got to start all over.
You can start over. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate making time for me. And if you need anything else, just let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I make the motion to move to approve and place on file Safe Built's quarterly business review as presented.
Support.
The move by Commissioner Lutz, supported by Commissioner Cook. To move to approve and place on file the Safe Built Quarterly Business Review as presented. That is a motion. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Number 3 is the discussion on the Sheriff's Office training funds. Ryan Robinson.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Sheriff.
I came here today to talk about the training funds, specifically purchasing of meals when we're at training. There's been a lot of trainings over the years that this has come up, and I just wanted to start the conversation with you guys about maybe getting a little bit more leeway on purchasing meals when our guys are at mandatory required trainings. On Friday, several of my officers attended a training in Reese, which is, right there by the county line. It's a required training. We have CPE credits that we have to fulfill through MCOLS to keep our licensing. It's 9 hours that the guys were there. And due to the fact that we were within the border of Tuscola County, we couldn't purchase a lunch for those guys. Now, I pointed out that if this training would have gone about 4 months ago, when it was originally scheduled, it was in Saginaw County. And then obviously that's outside of Tuscola County. So we would have been able to make a lunch purchase for our guys that attended. To me, I kind of thought, we're in our own county. It'd be nice if we could support our own communities, our own small businesses, and make some of those purchases. Whereas when we're out of county, we're definitely supporting Saginaw's economy. But the training I think that hits home the most is our PPCT training. It's our annual training for defensive tactics. We practice takedowns, holds, locks, handcuffing, batons, taser, all that stuff, the high liability stuff, things that are legally required to keep our licensing. You know, we have 40 to 45 guys that have to go through that training. If we were to send people out 2 at a time around the state in order to receive that training, by the time you figure in the cost of hotel stay, food, the training itself, you know, you're looking at $500 to $1,000 for 2 people to go. And then you got to multiply that by 20 groups to get them all certified. We have in-house trainers that can certify all of us to avoid all that travel expense. And I feel that we're saving an astronomical amount of money. We should be allowed to purchase a lunch for those, for everybody as they're going through that PPCT training. Last year, to get 40 to 45 guys fed for the entire week, it was around $700. And that money was taken out of our employee fund, which isn't really designed for that. That's designed for life's big moments, whether it be a marriage, a birth of a child, or the unfortunate things of a death in the family, funerals, things like that. We really shouldn't be pulling out of that fund. I think it's more appropriate to use training money for that. Additionally, MCOLs, because they have instituted these CPE requirements, the continuing professional education, they now give $500 per certified law enforcement officer to our agency in order to help us, you know, get those training goals done. That can be used for travel. Obviously, like I say, I don't want to send people out to travel. I'd like to keep them in-house. But I think that being able to spend $700-800 for an entire week for 40 to 45 guys to get them trained is not an unreasonable request. So I came here today just to ask if you guys would entertain the idea to allow the sheriff's office for our in-service required trainings to be able to make a lunch purchase for our guys while they're there.
And Sheriff, I hear what you're saying. We have all the other departments that are doing training also. And our policy stays what it stays. Now, it's something that we as commissioners want to go back to policy, but it's something we have to take consideration when we do for the sheriff's office. We should do it for the clerk's office. We should do it for everybody who's having legitimate training. And I think we need to look at it and say, okay, these are the points you made about, you know, the money is all about the taxpayer money. You know what I'm saying? And that needs to be looked at. Okay, is it saving this money if they're doing it here instead of doing motels or outside or whatever? You know what I'm saying? And look at it, but it's the policy thing that needs to be looked at. Needs to change. So you almost got to get with all the departments and say, hey, you know, and go over the policy and see what trade is in town, out of town. And I'm just giving my,
I agree.
Right, and I just wanted to start that discussion.
And it can be started, but it is a policy thing. We'd have to look at it. But I think the fair thing to do would be get with the department heads and talk about training, talk about different things, get everybody's ideas what I think is the most fair and the most best, because we do want to be digital for the taxpayers, but yeah, we want to make sure our people are getting trained and we want to do the right thing by them too.
Yeah.
So
I would be supportive of that discussion because I have encountered that as well. You know, if I'm hosting clerks and we're doing mandatory election training, you know, I can't leave for lunch or we're doing it during lunch because these clerks are working full time as well. So I would appreciate that discussion and the review of the policy. I think it is something that we need
if we look
to.
if we look at the policy, we need to include all the.
Right.
So, you know.
No, and I would support Sheriff Robinson in this discussion because.
That's something that control office can do too.
And I wasn't looking for an answer today. I just
No,
wanted to start
I
that
think it's
discussion
I think it's a
process.
good discussion.
Chairman, can
Sure.
I? I was there on Saturday too, and what the sad part about it is this guy come from Oakland County free to train our guys. We can't even get him a lunch. I mean, that's kind of sad. And if it had been a mile to the west,
You could have been a little overweight or something.
but I mean, if it had been a mile to the west,
Right.
I mean, it had been in Saginaw County and we could have done that. So I think it's something that we need to look at.
And again, like I said, I think we need to involve everybody that's,
Yeah.
you know, that has this issue because it all comes up. But it's something that we have to get the policy and talk over it down in the sense. And like I said, in the long run, it may be a savings. You know, if we allow it instead of other things outside. But Of course, you're gonna allow outside the county too, on the other things you talked about too, but what's the discussion that I'm sure the board, you know, we can get that discussion going and have the department heads meet with the controller's office and go over different ideas, what they would like to see on that policy and see where we're at.
I'd like to bring it back up to the next committee of the whole. Bring the policy and let's talk about it.
What is the policy now? Like, we can't buy their lunch in Tuscola County?
You have to be outside the county to use the county credit card to buy lunch. You got so much per day that you can use for meals, but you gotta be outside the county, inside the county for trading.
What was the purpose in making that policy? Does anyone know?
That's been a long life.
It's, yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
you don't,
that's
I
the
don't know.
obvious
That's,
element.
that's why the discussion could be had, I'm sure.
You know, and another thing that I could bring up in this is that, when guys from my office get requested to go outside someplace and help out with interviews for another agency, you know, those agencies always buy those interviewers lunch. You know, when people come here to do the same thing for us, we kind of sit there and tell them, well, we can't purchase a lunch. And, you know, Steve Anderson had something similar. They ended up buying him a lunch here recently because he wasn't able to pay for a lunch for people that are coming in for us. So I just want to start the discussion.
So maybe let's do this. Commissioner Luce wants to bring this up at the next committee, the whole meeting. Between now and then, let's make some department heads get in the controller's office and sit down with, together, talk about this, we have something next week to talk, at the committee of the whole to talk about and move it forward, or there it is. So from now to the next committee of the whole, if we could get, some discussion going with the controller's office and with Andy, who's really in charge of keeping track of all of that for sure. Get everybody's feelings and ideas and
Good idea.
we'll bring it back.
Sounds good. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thanks,
Thank
Sheriff.
you.
Thank you.
Moving on to number 4. Michigan State Police lease agreement, Mike Miller.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning, Mike.
So as most of you are aware, we are in negotiations or started negotiations with the state. The state police post lease ends this July. So Shelley and I had a conversation with a gentleman named Anthony from the state, and they are looking for a 10-year lease with 2 5-year extensions. They want some things done on carpet, ceiling, tiles, some painting. They want the parking lot repairs, which we've all got already covered in the budget. We've got $60,000 that I requested, and the parking lot repairs are already in this year's budget. So I don't see any issues with that. The issues that we're facing right now are 2. One, we have to decide what the rental rate's going to be, or at least offer first. You may not want to do that here. You may want to do that in a closed session. That's your preference, I suppose. The other issue is that we still have the issue of the water at the building. The state did pay for a project to be completed. That project's not been completed. So we need to decide what we're going to do, if we're going to move ahead and have city water ran to the building or not. Doesn't have to be decided today, but we need to decide it before we move much further into this process, just so we know where we're standing with them. So now I know that the project, when we bid this out, I believe it was 2020, was about $140,000. And because of the water issue, because the city never got permission to put water in at the building, and the project never moved forward. So we would have to go back to the architect, update the plan, and then rebid it if we decide to move forward. So 5 years ago it was 140,000. So I'm sure it's going to be a little bit more now.
That's to run the water to
Well, there was more than that. That was to run the water to the building. That was to disconnect the current fire suppression system, the underground tank, and the pit that entails that, and delete all of that rework the sprinkler system inside the building. Those are the highlights of it, basically, yes.
And Michigan State basically paid for all that, right?
Yes. There was an agreement made, I believe it was in 20, where we upped the rental rate per month for them to cover that cost, and they did. So that money's in, you know, I believe it's in your packet, there's 286,000-ish in your fund balance, so we have the funds.
We have the funds. Are we able to give us the city of Carroll and ask them to run the water? Will they run it? Or are we're still dealing
Well,
with?
your former controller walked out. She would really be able to answer that. We went back and forth. It goes back to Elmer Township didn't want to give us permission to annex into the city. And that's the hangup, is that we need
Well, I
to
guess the
annex.
question is, will they run the bill without it being annexed into the city?
That is the question that we've never gotten really answered.
Okay, that's what we gotta work on.
Yes. So if you want to do the water, then we have to figure out how we're going to get it. It's across the street. It's there. It's just that our property's not in the city.
Sooner or later, we're gonna allow them to do water. I'm thinking, you know, I mean, they paid for it. We got the money in there to do it.
When the building was built in 2000, city water wasn't available, but it is now. So we have the water issue, and then there's a sheet, basically the state wants us to fill out and send back to them. It just lists the square footages and basically the rent. So we need to determine what we want to do with that. If you want to do that in a public session or closed session, I believe that's totally up to you.
So then, Mike, today, are we in position to go ahead and approve this lease agreement, or the rent's gotta be all figured out first before we do that, right?
Yeah, I have, basically everything on this sheet is filled out other than what the board would like to offer to the state for monthly rent or per square foot. And then talking with Mark Ransford on square footages for office space, he said somewhere between $10, $14 a square foot is the going rate right now. So, but that's a very high-tech building, so he would lean towards a higher end, but that is your prerogative. But that's, and he said this area, that's what office space is going for.
Mr. Chair, I think we should get the water question answered and determine the rent before we do anything. Don't you think?
I don't know. So the water issue, we've been trying to determine since
I know that.
2020. So I think the rental rate's probably gonna, because we only have till July when the release expires, so kind of on a short track right now to get this thing. But I would agree that the water definitely needs to be decided, but it's not, I don't believe it's a sticking point on moving
No, I
forward
don't
with the
either.
lease.
I'm not, I guess I wasn't meaning that.
Is it gonna affect what we ask for rent if we do it? Cause they've already basically already paid for it, so.
Your previous controller, not your previous controller, but your previous controller, Mr. Hammerbacher, did have a discussion with them, and he brought that up. And Anthony didn't seem too concerned that if we're not doing the project, we would just have to pay the state back. And they would take it out of the rent.
We have the money to do that too.
But we do have the money to do it. And I would recommend that we do it. And the reason is just so everybody understands, because it's been 5 years, is that there's a 22,000 gallon tank of water in the ground, and there's a 12-foot hole in the ground that you go down to service the equipment. That pit floods. We've had to replace tons of equipment down there. That tank is to be, per National Fire Code, supposed to be inspected every 5 years. And the last quote we had to do that, to bring everything up to date, and this was 5 years ago, it was about $60,000. So every 5 years, it wouldn't be 60,000 every 5 years, but it would be an ongoing expense every 5 years versus spending 150,000, whatever it might be now, as a one-time expense to be done.
So, like, is this something we can hold off to our next round of meetings to get more information on our water situation. If
Yes.
we get, that we don't have to do today. I would like to
Let's
push this back to maybe the next committee of the whole. And meanwhile, I'll have some discussions with the city of Carroll to find out what our options would be if there is any. And if they say, well, it's all up to our township or whatever, that could be, then we make a decision about just paying them back and figure what our rest will be.
I would say, and Shelley, you can agree or disagree with me, but I would think that we would want to get the rental rate back to the state for their review, I'd say by mid-April, just to give us
So that's
time.
what, so by the next round of meeting, I think we should,
I think you'd be good with that.
That's kind of what I was.
Mr. Chair, I think also that we need to get this figured out. If we're gonna have to go in there and do fire suppression, painting, you're gonna want to get this water situation figured out before you start doing all that, because probably takes different fire suppression, I'm guessing.
Well, basically what they were doing was just changing some of the piping and deleting
okay.
some of the piping. It shouldn't, we're not changing the whole system,
Oh, okay.
at least 5 years ago.
let's move back to the next committee of the whole meeting. Like, and we'll bring it up. Meanwhile, I'm gonna try to get some answers on this water to at least know, okay, this is a possibility or it's not a possibility or what.
Yeah.
And, I think we'll have more
Okay.
to go on this now. Agreeable?
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
move on to, maintenance contract for the courthouse upgrade, Mr. Steven Anderson.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Steve.
I apologize for this. I caught this yesterday. I happened to be walking back from the courthouse security and I remembered that we hadn't received our agreement from Lighthouse. So I reached out to my contact there that I've been dealing with for the last 10 to 12 years, and she apologized. She had the contract done. She just forgot to email it to me. So the contract is actually started March 25th to 25 through March 24th of 2026. And this is a maintenance agreement for the X-ray machine in the courthouse. So anything that happens to it, they come in and do an annual on it as well. If it breaks, they automatically come and fix it. They pay for the parts and everything. So it's a very costly piece of equipment, but we have to keep it going. So as usual, there's a $400 increase. It goes up $400 every year. So the total is $7,300. I actually looked in the account, Under Sheriff Baxter put in $7,500. So we have the money there to cover this. So same thing we do every year. So
Any questions for Steve?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the annual maintenance contract quote number Q21618 with Leidos. Am I saying that right? Security Detection and Automation Incorporated in the amount of $7,300 for the period of March 25th, 2025 through March 26th, 2026. Also, all necessary signatures are authorized.
Support.
It's been moved by, Mr. Cook, supported by Mr. Goodchild to move to approve the annual maintenance contract quote number Q-21618 with Leidos Security Detection and Automation Incorporated in the amount of $7,300 for the period of March 25th, 2025 through March 26th, 2026. All necessary signatures are authorized. Any more discussion on that? Here done, all fair say aye.
Aye.
Motion's been approved.
thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Steve.
Review Plant Moran Services.
Good morning.
Good
Morning.
So working with Shelley and the team and the new auditors, we've reviewed the work that Plant Moran has provided. I do have also the summary for you. And in your packet also was the list from Clayette that she had provided. Do you need a printed copy of that as well?
No, I don't think so.
Probably got it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ricky.
afterward. If it's in the agenda, I'm good.
So we met with Plant Moran last week and discussed, our deliverables and that we meaning before my time have been unable to access their secure portal. So they granted me access. I was able to pull all of the deliverables that they provided to us on Friday, March 21st. So I did my best to compile this to a summary. I do know it's long, but page 1 and page 2 is the synopsis for you. So some of the items they say complete, we concur. We believe that they're complete. Some of the other items, they say complete with action that we would like to discuss with the owner prior to taking said action. We are in the middle of an open audit. It's not recommended that you make any major changes while you're in open audit. So we're running all of those changes through the auditors to confirm before we make any of those changes.
Mr. Chair, I got a couple of questions. On this year-end immediate assistance, 1D, it says it's 95% complete. Have they given you a time frame when that's gonna be?
Well, what they
completed? It
provided
says
me,
complete this week. Is that this?
no, this
Okay.
was in their meeting that was on February.
Okay.
So if you look to
I'm sorry, did you say February 5th?
February 5th, I believe, was it 5th or the 13th? I apologize, Shelley.
February 3rd.
February 13th, I
Okay.
apologize. So if you look at page 6, that is their description of what they have done so far as of March 21st, 2025 for item 1D.
And they say that that's 95% complete.
Well, the 95% complete was their notes on February 13th.
Okay.
So then the packet, page, what I just said, page 6 is what they say as of March 21st. So the packet is more up to date than the initial comments
Okay.
on the February 13th.
So can I add some more questions?
Sure.
2A, in the, what we got in the email, it said, I'm sorry, 2A is still in progress. Is there any update on when it's gonna be
Well,
done?
the same applies, is the notes in red on the scope of questions was their notes from February 13th.
Okay.
So the packet states on page 4 what was finished. Now, I was not here then, but I believe that that is all completed, right? The, that was the, MIDC? Yes. Yes. So Plant Moran was a big help in that area and helping get that set up with the state appropriately.
Okay, so 2B, I'm assuming is the same answer.
Correct.
Okay. 2C, it says in progress, working with Debbie to complete week of 2/5. That's been a little while ago. Is that completed?
We would have to refer to page 5. So again, I'm sending this to the auditors to review.
Okay.
So they say that it is complete. However, the documents that they provided me, I want to have our auditors review one more time.
And then same with number 3, I'm assuming. And my only concern, Erica and Chairman Vaughn, is if we decide to stop this agreement, whatever you want to call it, with them, is all this going to be done? I'm assuming if we stop.
So they are working at our direction.
Okay.
So a lot of the things that they are saying are complete, either our team has completed them, our team has already worked with the auditors to provide what is necessary.
Okay.
So I was hoping to have more time with the auditors before we terminate the contract, just to make sure that we have everything we need. However, when I spoke with Plant Moran last week, they said they would be available to answer questions even after we terminate their contract and any work that they've already completed.
Okay.
So I'm confident in the work that they've done, our team and the auditors, we can move forward with termination of the contract.
I guess my only, second concern is any of this that's still in progress, we already paid for. And we didn't get it completed. That's
Well, we've
that's a
paid-
concern of me.
We pay them per hour. So any work that they've
Okay.
completed, we pay for.
Okay.
It's not.
It's not like a project.
It's not like a project. You're not paying per month.
Okay.
You are paying per hour that they work.
Okay. That's all my questions. Thank you. And again, wasn't questioning what you guys have been doing or anything. It's more, have we paid for something that we didn't get done and how are we gonna get it done?
No, no concerns on my part. I have had the same questions. And again, I'm, doing my best to get up to speed as quickly as possible on all of these tasks. So just for transparency, I'm running all of them by the auditors to say, before I do this journal entry that Plant Moran is recommending, please review. Again, we're in an open audit. That's standard operating procedure when you are in open audit, is you don't make any adjustments to the prior year without discussing it with the auditors.
And I want to make it public. You are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Agreed.
And it's just, those are just my two concerns. Going forward, if we terminated the contract, we got some things that aren't done. How are we gonna get them done? I mean,
Right.
I know your office is capable of doing it, but have we paid for it already and it makes me feel good if you said they will still work with us. So,
Yes, they will no longer perform any duties.
Right.
But they will answer questions on the
Okay.
work that they've already performed.
Okay.
So I have started to go through, I went through them all and did a very brief review so I could present to you this week. I have not done a deep dive on every line item and said, this is what they say and this is what I need to do. We got a summary. I provided all of that to the auditors, and we are going to meet first part of the week to go over anything that our office needs to take action on. Some of the questions have self-resolved in the meantime.
Yeah.
So we are also trying to not make matters worse by making a correction of a correction.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Chair.
Well, I think, with the discussion with Plant Moran, they're ready to move forward with termination. So I think we need to, as a board, come up with a date that, and I'm thinking maybe 4:30 tomorrow night.
The request of Plant Moran was for March 31st. And so we had asked in the meeting for time to
Okay.
make that determination. Do we need another week or 2 weeks? And they said they were, open to whatever the county needs.
But we're talking with the girls in the offices and Erica and Shelley and everybody. I'm confident that we've got enough information with these girls to do this. They can take this and go. There's been just a lot of questions that, but I think that we're in pretty good shape with what conversations we've done with Plant Moran, with the girls that we're ready. So if March 31st works for Plant Moran, we can also
Good.
do that.
March 31st was the date they proposed. Or why, maybe month end.
So they'll send us a letter out saying that's their last day. Do we have to take action on that today? As a board, or just let them?
Clerk Fetting, I would say a motion being line, wouldn't it?
Well, considering I've not been included in discussions up to now, I'm not privileged to some of that, but if you are looking at participating in terminating a contract, yes, a motion should But if Plant Moran is the one initiating the contract termination, then you may not have a choice in it, but if you would like to concur with their request, I'm kind of
And that's
trying to get caught up
and that's-
based
that's what
on
I'm saying.
what, I'm trying to piece
Yeah.
the puzzle together in the conversation today. So I don't know if I'm close. But if they're terminating the contract, then that's one thing. But if you agree to that termination, I think a motion to concur with that would be
I think so. Well,
appropriate.
It was mutual.
Sorry, I'm trying to catch up
Yeah,
as
that's-
well. Sounds like there may have been maybe a meeting that, I don't know, obviously wasn't an open meeting because it wasn't posted nor was minutes taken. So I don't know the details of that.
It was a mutual agreement. Plant Moran sent an email yesterday requesting that we confirm a date. So.
Then I would suggest a motion to confirm that date.
do we have a motion, sample motion?
Yes, there is, I believe Shelley has
Yeah,
presented
but-
that on that extra sheet of
Motion.
paper.
Same as the other one. You don't need your glasses, just hand it to me.
Commissioner, did you have something you want to add to?
No, I guess not. No, I don't. Not this time.
So Erica, you're good with March 31st?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I make the motion to approve the termination of Tuscola County's contract with Plant Moran effective 3/31/2025.
Support that.
The move by Commissioner Cook, support by Commissioner Lutz. The move to approve the termination of Tuscola County's contract with Plant Moran effective March 31st of 2025. That is a motion and more discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion has been approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Erica.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That takes us through the new business. On to old business. Resolution 20. Oh. These are things that we've done on, the whole, just have motions prepared for. Resolution establish fund 217 materials management plan and grant.
Chair, I move to approve the resolution 2025-04 to establish fund 217 materials management planning grant as presented with a roll call vote. Or
So moved by Commissioner Lutz, supported by Commissioner Cook. To move to approve resolution 2025-04 to establish a fund 217 materials management planning grant as presented with a roll call vote, please.
Thank you. Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Goodchild,
Yes.
Commissioner Bartle is absent, Commissioner Lutz,
yes.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Yes.
Motion carried. And Commissioner Vaughn, I do have that with me and I'll present that for signature after the meeting.
Number 2, the Human Development Commission Annual Service Report.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve and place on file the Human Development Commission's HDC Annual Senior Services Report as presented.
Support.
The move by Commissioner Cook, supported by Commissioner Lutz, to move to approve and place on file the Human Development Commission HDC Annual Senior Services Report as presented. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. The Sheriff's Office report.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve and place on file the Sheriff's Office 2024 annual report as presented.
Support.
The move by Commissioner Lutz, supported by Commissioner Goodchild, to move to approve and place on file the Sheriff's Office 2024 annual report as presented. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
On file, it should be. Move on to number 4. Prosecutor's Office requests to hire Secretary to employee Kelly Lutz, term, which was discussed also on Monday.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the request of prosecutor Erica Wally to hire Noel, help me,
Gallegos.
Gallegos, thank you, to fill the open secretary 2 position in the prosecutor's office at step 2 rate of pay of $18.36 per hour pending favorable physical, drug screen, and background check. Tentative start date to be March 31st, 2025.
Support. Bill moved by Commissioner Cook, supported by Commissioner Goodchild, to move to approve the request of the prosecutors Erica Walla to hire Noel Gallegos to fill the open secretary 2 position in the prosecutor's office at step 2 rate of pay $18.36 per hour, pretending favorable physical, drug screen, and background check. Time to start date to be March 31st, 2025. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion has been approved. Move on to correspondence and resolutions. Requests and comments on Wells Township proposed amended master plan. We have a motion on that. Wait,
Mr. Chair, do you know anything about this?
no, I'm sure it's a master, it's, when we do their master plan, they'll send it over to the county planning commission, and every 5 or 6, so they show what else to place on file.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to move to approve.
Oh, this doesn't need a motion, does it? This is just correspondence.
Oh, I was just reading here. Just said-
Yes, I apologize. This is just a correspondence. It does not,
Oh, okay.
Oh,
no,
Okay.
this is just them presenting it to you. And it's in comment period. It's just for information.
Okay.
A motion is not needed at this time. I'm sorry, I didn't see that when I
Nope, that's
approved
okay.
the motions yesterday.
That's why we have you.
Yeah, no,
Keep us
correspondence.
straight.
Yeah, and then the next thing is just information as well.
Okay.
Does anybody know anything about the, Drive Fairgrove letter?
No, I do not know anything about it. I checked my email yesterday and that's the first I kind of heard about it. I don't even know where it's at. I tried looking in the, I tried looking in the, the draft agenda here and I couldn't find anything to say exactly where it's at. I see the Onyx picture on here. I'm not sure where that's at though. Just says Fairgrove area.
Okay, anybody got anything on that or the discussion? If not, we can move into the commissioner liaison reports. And I'm the first one to go and I really don't have nothing to report this morning. We'll move on to Commissioner Goodchild.
I have nothing to report this morning.
Mr. Bardwell is absent this morning. So move on to Commissioner Lutz.
Out to the medical care facility, we're gonna put some new flooring down in the floors out there in the hallways, so that's gonna be an ongoing project all summer. I attended the MAC Judicial Committee. Not a whole lot going on there. It didn't last very long. And Human Development, just want to remind everybody, they're gonna open their diner over here, at Burnside at 11 o'clock. That's all I have, sir.
Mr. Cook.
Nothing to add, sir.
Yeah. Any other businesses necessary to come in front of the board this morning? Anybody have any other businesses necessary to come in front of the board? Hearing none, we're going to extended public comment. Anybody want to address the board this morning, public comment? Any extended public comment, you can address the board this morning. Anybody want to address the board this morning on public comment? That's record controlled by the secretary of public comment was offered again. And we had no participants. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn the commissioner meeting this morning.
So moved.
Support.
The move by Commissioner Cook, support by Commissioner Roots. To adjourn the commissioner meeting this morning, I want to thank everybody who joined us this morning on virtual, everybody in the boardroom this morning. We appreciate it. More participation we get, we appreciate it. With that, we stand adjourned. I want to call to order the statutory finance part of the meeting this morning. And there will be a public comment at the end of the meeting. If somebody wants to comment on this finance part of the meeting. With that, we'll do a roll call by Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Commissioner Goodchild,
Here.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Here.
Commissioner Lutz,
Here.
Commissioner Cook,
Here.
and Commissioner Barbell is still absent. You have a quorum. You may proceed.
Thank you, ma'am. Action on previous minutes.
Chair, I make a motion on make this action on previous meeting minutes, statutory finance, March 13th, 2025. Support.
The move by Commissioner Lutz, support by Commissioner Cook to take action on the previous meeting minutes, statutory finance, 13 of March 2025. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes have been approved. Moving on to new business, the review and approval of the finance report and checks.
Chair, I make a motion to review and approval of finance report and checks 32725 finance doc.
Support.
But moved by Commissioner Cook, supported by Commissioner Luce to review and approval of the finance report and checks 32725 on the financial docket. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion has been approved. The review and approval of the data report and checks.
Chair, I'd make a motion to review and approve of the daily report and checks 32725, the daily docket. Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Luce, supported by Commissioner Cook. Review and approval of the daily report and checks 32725 on the daily docket. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Has been approved also. Move on to number 3, the review and approval of the per diem report and checks, March 25th.
Chair, I make a motion to review and approval of the per diem report and checks March 20th, 2025 per diems.
Support.
The move by Commissioner Cook, supported by Commissioner Luke. Review and approval of the per diem report and checks, March 2025 per diems. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion has been approved. I don't see any old business on the statutory finance that need to be discussed. We'll move into public comment for the statutory finance part of the meeting. Everybody wants to comment with more on the statutory finance part of the meeting. We can do that now. Public comment on the statutory finance part of the meeting. Let the record show that statutory, that the public comment was offered and they had no participants. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn the statutory.
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
The move by Commissioner Luce, supported by Commissioner Cook to adjourn the statutory finance meeting this morning. With that, again, I want to say thank you to everybody who joined us this morning. With that, we stand adjourned.